Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome to Crypto Chat UK. Now, as you know, I have been a long-term investor in cryptocurrencies. And when I started, I kept my investments to kind of like the chosen few, the smaller amount of cryptos. I extended my investments as 2016, 2017 came. Certainly getting to the middle of 2017, I was looking at, and later, I was looking at, like everybody else, finding those key cryptos where they're still cheap, they're undervalued, and getting them kind of big gains that perhaps we'd missed out on other cryptos. A lot of people were doing that. I included was looking for some of them. Now, some of them have kind of fallen by the wayside, of course. Whether they'll survive, whether they'll last, I don't know. There is kind of a cull going on. But I always have said, and always will say, you want to stick to the fundamentals, okay? The fundamental cryptos that you know are going to be. I have got some favourites that are part of the fundamentals and potentially are being worked on really good, and also potentially part of the future, will more than likely be here for a long time. Certainly a big part of blockchains and cryptocurrencies in general. But there is some other ones as well. Now, what I thought is just mention kind of, say, my top 5, 6 or 7 that I'm into. There's some obvious ones there, of course, but the ones that I'm really kind of dedicated to and really bullish on, I just thought I'd give you a brief of some of them while I'm here. I mean, obviously, the first one, obviously, is Bitcoin. Of course it is. Of course it's Bitcoin. If you go onto the CoinMarketCap, you can obviously go to the link, do your little research on it. You can go through, see the white paper, of course. If you have a look online, you can get a lot of information about all the cryptos, to be honest. And obviously, if you look on YouTube, you look on forums, you look on anything to do with articles, on news releases, anything to do with cryptocurrencies worth looking at. Worth looking at negatives and positives, of course. I've talked about this a lot. If you do have any questions on Bitcoin or any of the cryptocurrencies, I've already done my research, I've always said. Now, don't forget, as always, I'm not a financial advisor, so definitely do the checks yourself if you are going to invest. If you already invested, then you probably already know a lot about them anyway. And, you know, obviously there's a lot of scaremongering going, a lot of FUD. Bitcoin itself, well, for me, no-brainer. Absolutely no-brainer. The maths do work, the figures do work, the product works and it's proven itself, and the legacy that's being left of it, and also the people coming up behind now, as people are coming up, students, even people at school, universities, certainly like businesses, they're all getting involved. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Just look at the maths as well. No-brainer. Okay, so number 1 for me is Bitcoin. Of course, I think everybody should be into it. XRP is my second one. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm not going to do like some kind of big review of them, but XRP is another one for me. Ripple, the Ripple net, and all the other stuff that's being built, all the Ripple products are amazing, and the team that's working on them is, you know, it's above and beyond most. It's absolutely amazing. And they've already got a big chunk of the market. I mean, they're working a lot now in the Middle East and stuff. I mean, I've done a couple of videos about it, you know, about what's going on. So definitely worth looking at if you haven't already. More than likely you have. If you're listening to this, you more than likely have already. But that is definitely my number 2. Certainly my number 2. There is a thing. If I look back at CoinMarketCap, there is a thing with circulating supply. Of course, I have mentioned this in other videos. Okay, so if you look at XRP being currently 32 cents, which is very much undervalued, and the circulating supply, don't forget there is many of these, like XRP for example, that do burn a certain amount of cryptos, a certain amount of them, during each transaction. Now, it's very, very, very minor. It's a very small point that they do. But don't forget, there's millions of transactions going to be occurring. There is absolutely, if they carry on the way they're going, there is going to be a phenomenal amount of transactions. So that does make it a deflationary coin, a deflationary crypto. So just keep an eye on that as well. That is a very good reason. So although these are high, you know, you have got to think about this. And some of the ones I'll mention now are still high in the circulating supply. Cardano, for example, that is phenomenal. Now, when I first went on this, it was a bit of a punt, but when I learned more about it, I kept thinking, this is phenomenal. This is absolutely phenomenal. So the team behind this is working really hard. I'm not going to go into all that, but definitely go and have a look at it. Look at the white paper so you know what it's all about. Also, take a look at the roadmap and look at updates that have occurred and what they've been getting involved in. Absolutely amazing. Stellar Lumens. Stellar Lumens, again, this was a punt. I bought this at 4 cents initially. Now, I am accumulating this. I am constantly accumulating more now. this market, the way it is now, I see it as bargain time, even if it drops a bit more. So I am constantly accumulating my position more. I am looking into getting better positions on all my favorites. Now, these are my favorites. So I've got, at the moment, I've got Bitcoin top, XRP second, Cardano third for me, and Stellar Lumens fourth. Okay. Litecoin is up there as well. They're fifth for me. They are still up there. Now, I, would like to hear more about Litecoin now, what's going on now, because a lot of stuff happened last year. Obviously, 2018, a lot of cryptos suffered. Of course it did. Litecoin is not going to be not affected by it. Of course it's going to be affected by it. But I would like to see more going on. I did do some videos about them buying a percentage of a bank, potentially can buy more. So there is stuff going on in the background, but I would like to hear more. I still have faith in Litecoin, but certainly my favourite ones above that are XRP, Cardano, and Stellar, I think. As a even though technically, I mean, if you look at it, the actual supply of Litecoin is a lot better. Of course, it is, and the total supply, if you have a look at it, what will ever be, is much better. There is something about these and the different use cases that these are for. XRP, certainly. The Ripple products like XRapid. Different use cases. Different thing altogether to a degree. Litecoin, more of a payment thing. Okay. Now, Ethereum. I did move some of this because there was some news coming out, a bit of negative news late last year in the last quarter. And I moved some of this into XRP, and XRP was at 25 cents. And I got some XRP and did well there. So I bought XRP initially at 16 cents, and I did some moving around with Ethereum. Still got faith in Ethereum. They have competition with Tron. Now Tron is some serious competition. They are working seriously. From what I've read, Tron is absolutely phenomenal what they're doing. Now these two might work together more in the future, but it is worth keeping an eye on Ethereum and Tron, see what happens. Ethereum are talking about a lot more stuff going on. So I am keeping an eye on Ethereum. Still kind of a favourite. I think it could go down. I think Ethereum and Litecoin could go down for me a little bit on my list of favourites. But still at the moment, one of my favourites. And I think you could see a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of DApp stuff that we need. Putting the apps on the blockchain, the way this works, the way this platform works, and Tron as well, is amazing. They're in competition, I think, a little bit. Or they may work together. I don't know. But I'll keep an eye on news for that as well. There is some news about Ripple. Ripple's XRP journey to overtake Bitcoin, possibly. Cardano, can it make you a millionaire in 2019? I doubt it. You want to read these articles? That's I think it's from Altcoins. This is on Crypto Recorder, but I think it's Altcoin News or something like that. But it's certainly from the CryptoRecorder.com. You can see it on there. And it will, there's quite a big article there. You can have a read of it. It's quite an interesting read. But he's talking about can you make it a millionaire? Now, I am accumulating more and more of this stuff. Of course I am. These are my favourites. So like I say, Bitcoin, I think everybody should be in Bitcoin. XRP, I think it's almost a no-brainer as well. I suspect I am constantly accumulating. So a good price, 32 cents, very good for me. Stellar Lumens, 10 cents, I am accumulating a bit more of them. Every time I get the opportunity, okay, I look for the lows. I don't just go in, I look for the lows. Cardano, 4 cents. Now, that is still kind of down there for me. I'm not sure, but I do love Cardano. I love what the team, like I've said, I love what they're doing. IOTA, I'm into IOTA and stuff like that, so that's another one. But the top kind of 5, 6, 7, 8 are just what I've talked about. There are other ones, but some of them are really cheap if you haven't got in. It's worth it, I believe, if you've got a little bit of spare cash, trickling it in and just accumulating while it's low. And I suspect a lot of 2019 might be low. We might get a big surprise in 2019. We might get a huge surprise, and we might get this big upward movement and stuff like that. And I think potentially there could be some that break that way. But in general, if we have got this sideways movement, we have got some drops. If we have got these are opportunity, this is opportunity time. I'm aiming for 2020 to 2022 is to see if I want to skim any profits off, because I suspect they're going to be the key times. I think a lot of development's going to come out this year. I think what was being worked on 2018 certainly will come out this year, and there's some decisions on many things that we're waiting for. Okay, I mean, there's Tron. Something talks about Tron, basically. Tron's Justin Sun will break 200 DApps soon with Nitron and Tron Accelerator. So a lot going on there, stuff going on in the foreground and background, So, there's a lot of stuff out there. If you want to know what determines The value of Bitcoin, I'm just looking at that now, coinsutra.com, have a look at that. It gives you some details on the facts around the value, okay? Something I've talked about in the past, what determines the value of Bitcoin, 6 top reasons that drive Bitcoin price. This is a really good article for you to read, okay? It's CoinSutra. If you get a chance, definitely get onto this article. I've read some of it. I'm going to go through the rest of it. But it is well worth a read, I think. It's well worth it. Okay. There is a bit of negative news. Reserve Bank of India. But I think this could go in favor of cryptocurrencies in the end. They're probably going to create themselves long-term problems. I mean, briefly, banks in India don't touch Bitcoin or your accounts will be closed. They're basically brought out basically a rule or a law or whatever saying they'll close your account. So this is how it looks. He goes, basis, the regulations issued by RBI, which is Royal Bank of India, they hereby declare that will not deal with any transactions. That's what you got to declare, sorry, to them. I will not deal with any transactions related to cryptocurrency, including Bitcoins. I do understand and agree that the bank reserves all right to close my account without further intimation in case I am found to undertake such transactions. I mean, it's crazy. You basically got to sign up so you won't do any cryptocurrency trading. I mean, what are they trying to do? It's just absolutely ridiculous. It's worth a read, this is. It's certainly worth a read. There's a lot of people that say a lot about it. They are going to force people, certainly the confident people in cryptos, to go, well, kind of, no offense, but screw you. I'm going to go and I'm going to go straight into cryptos now. I mean, there is a crypto, what's she called? I'll just have a look now. Crypto Girls, Indian crypto girl. The bankers, what she says is, she's had this. I think she's had her bank stopped and closed. So here we go. Indian crypto girl. We noticed you did a transaction involving crypto. Hence, we will close your account within 30 days. Now, she's put, P.S. glad they're doing it for me. So she's posted this and said glad they're doing it for her. And you know, that's how a lot of people who are, you know, smart will deal with it. They'll realize, you know, and they'll go, well, you know, if you're going to do that, then I'll just go and use the cryptos full time. I'll put all my money into that and forget it. You know, you're changing all money for new there, and they could just be pushing people into it if they're going to do something silly as this. So there we go. Well worth it. But basically what they're saying is Bitcoin all but banned in India. Okay, their official stance on it. I think they're seeing it very stupidly. Other countries are looking at it in a much different way. But that's a bit of negative news there. But there you go. That is basically my favorite cryptos right now that I would say you need to look at, and I would say is well worth getting involved in. And if you want to punt, the ones at Sense anyway, if you put a little bit of money away there regular, you are going to accumulate some gains long term, I think. So, you know, it's well worth it. It's well worth the punt. There is some other ones. There is some cheaper ones. There is some more expensive ones that I would say are well worth going in. But even if you get, whatever you're doing, don't forget, I'll always say it, whatever you're doing, if you can, start accumulating some Bitcoin, because you don't need a large amount. You don't need to go for one full Bitcoin. You can just go for bits. So if you just keep accumulating, every time there's a low, every time there's a drop, every time there's sideways and low movements like this, long term, you're going to do well. That's what I feel. Okay? Don't forget, keep an eye on it. Okay, now guys, I hope this has been informative for you. I hope I'll give you some good info. Don't forget, if you haven't already, then please subscribe. And if you have subscribed, definitely hit that notification bell. If you like this video, hit the like button. That's be great. And if you didn't, hit the dislike button. That's fine. Leave me some comments. Don't forget, you can send me through the messenger and stuff like that. I've got a few messenger stuff that people send to me. But if you have got anything you want, you can always email me as well. And I will speak to you guys soon. Take it easy.